the IBOM Air flight, who had a heated outburst assaulting flight attendants and a female flight attendant and airport staff in the plane. The video emerged where she was seen being bundled out of the airline. As we await the full details of what transpired, it's essential for us to consider some of the available evidences we can see from the videos. What are your thoughts on this incident that happened? As I said, we don't have the full details just yet, but in the meantime, we can look over the videos we have. Some have also defined it as a quamish behavior of I think it was Mariam that christened it quamish, because what is a quamish behavior? It's a behavior that passengers exert when there's an altercation between them and flight attendants or airport officials. Yeah, I guess dictionary can handle that. So being quamish. When you go to the plane or to the airport and people are misbehaving, they're actually very quamish. Yes. Please relax. Anyways, coming back to the incident. So we saw a young girl assaulting a flight attendant. She was saying that she's slapping me. Eventually, another video emerged where she was bundled out and her shirt was ripped apart, seeing her on her nakedness. And then we saw her outside also assaulting other airport officials. As I said, we don't know what led to this, because in every story, something must have led to this. All we see is the recording of the outburst. So we'll take this from the outburst. What are your thoughts? How do you respond to these kinds of crises? I think Mariam had said something about this, about conflict resolution. When something happens, how do we resolve it? What exactly must we do? What are the steps from a citizen's perspective and also from the airport officials' perspective? I think that's a conversation we'd like to have this morning. You can join the conversation 021-635-2013, 090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and also YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. It's important to discuss this because many of us have traveled and we see cases where there are recalcitrant passengers who refuse to adhere to the rules. Either switch off your phones, either don't stand up before, stand up after the person in front of you moves out, you know, all these kind of things, and nobody listens. We see them both locally and internationally, it's across, not just Nigerians. So how do you think we should behave going forward? Would like to go first?
Well, please, let me state from the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at the NCA's Twitter page, where he established what most likely happened. He said this is a very wrong behavior. It is misleading and enables unruly behavior. And he says, if you're reading this tweet, please listen, obey cabin crew always, not sometimes, always. Then he went to another tweet and says, when cabin crew ask you to turn off your phone before takeoff or landing, simply comply. I can't understand why simple routine issues would lead to incidents like this. Passengers need to understand that they have responsibilities, not just rights. We will address this after more details become clearer by tomorrow. And then he added, he attached 4 angles of the videos of this lady and what most likely happened, except the one that we saw. Except the additional one. So there's a 5th video, sir, which he did not add. And so I want to believe that from what he said, an altercation happened when a cabin crew tried to force the passenger to switch off their phone before landing, because the flight was from Uyo to Lagos and they were already in Lagos. But when this happened, so I think from what I could see, the air hostess blocking the entrance of the plane for the exit of the plane, the one who was slapped, blocking the lady, probably trying to hold that till an arrest is done. And so that was what must have led to what.
What are your thoughts?
So last week, when I mentioned the challenge Nigerians have with conflict resolution, and Mariam also said it again, and we were talking about anger management last week. One of the things that occurred to me, because when Mariam was saying we need to do conflict resolution courses, I actually did one. You've forgotten. It was brought into the show. I think we had a guest. It was like the 2nd year of being on this show, and I went to Ibadan to do it, and it was very eye-opening. Like, many issues can be handled if people are trained to handle how to manage conflicts. But aside from that, here it was a case of de-escalating a situation that wasn't managed well. I would say that 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So the lady obviously had contravened the rules regarding whether it is about NCA, FAN, or IATA, whichever way she has disobeyed, she was unruly and she should have been detained. Who in the security operatives within the plane understood how to detain her in a proper way? Could we have managed situation better? Not that one person is carrying one hand, one person is carrying one leg, one person is carrying... Like, it became very messy. And we could have de-escalated that situation in a way that... There's a way... You know, that we watch... I maybe watch too much movies, but we've seen trainings of how they train people where in 2 seconds I can hold your hand to the back, hold your leg. Like, there are ways you can do it because you are trained to. It's a similar way where my son learning Taekwondo can, as a small boy, take down a full-grown adult because he understood the techniques. So we need to teach techniques on how to de-escalate. Somebody wants to be crazy. I'm going to go crazy right now. I will ensure that I curb your craze because I am trained to de-escalate these kind of situations, and they happen everywhere. I've been in the plane, and I always sit around exit row because it has more leg room. And I know the rules. I remove my earpiece, I switch off my phone, I don't put my bag on the floor because my bag cannot be blocking the exit. So when someone, and they always come and debrief us. When they are debriefing, they say, remove your earpiece. I'm talking to you, say, I've removed one ear. He says, sir, you are at the exit roll. I need you to hear me. I don't hear it many times. I don't remove her. He said, I'm not going to talk until you remove your earpiece and keep your bag up. You know, like somebody is explaining to you. There are conditions I am trained to do, and the guy was just doing a lot of drama. It took all of us that were said and say, Oga. All of us don't remove earpiece. All of us put bag up. Oh, yeah. So we supported in ensuring that the rules were followed. So here I see de-escalating techniques being trained to all airport personnel. Anybody that is in the plane should know that you will have, among all the same, there will be one insane person that you need to deal with. So know how to deal with them. Number 2 is, I see girls go to travel, and it's like they have a mission. The mission is to go and find a boyfriend inside plane. Because I have seen some outfits that I'm like, do you understand what happened? Like, this can happen inside a plane. The lady's outfit was...
Very travel worthy.
It was a travel outfit. And in a little drama, it ripped off. Not that she was expecting it to rip off, but me, I traveled like, you know, the way, as a young girl growing up, when you wear outfit, you wear leggings under. Because if anything happens, you can run. You are traveling, you wear shoe that is smart so that if anything happens, you can move. Like, our parents taught us to understand that the world is a dangerous place. So I'm not going to dress up in a way that you just do like this, do like this. It's not like what they did to her is right. Honestly, I feel really sad that she was exposed like that. But, you know, like I said, 2 wrongs don't make it right. If she was rude, manage the situation better. In police we see abroad, even when they want to arrest a criminal, they would say, bend your head so that you don't hit your head on the car door. So even though they know you're a criminal, they don't want you to hit your head on the door while entering into the car. So there are little things we need to do that can make a huge difference. Okay. But this KWAM 2 drama is very interesting.
Okay, Mariam, what are your thoughts on this?
Wow. But when I saw the video, I was like, no, this couldn't have happened after. This must have happened a long time ago and someone brought it out. Because having seen what we have seen in the past few days, I just thought that, you know, we'll try and conduct ourselves a bit better. But we don't know the backstory of why this even happened, you know, apart from we'll wait to hear from her. But no matter what happened, and that's why I said it the last time we had a conversation with KWAM 1, no matter what happened, in the end, it's how you decided to conduct yourself. No matter what provoked you, no matter what was happening, how did you decide to behave when this thing happened? And obviously, yet again, I'm seeing the perpetrator or the victim, the security people, everyone played a role in how they just made the thing a big issue. So one, for the lady, you're pushing another adult, or pushing her head. Like, why? For what reason? Why would you think it's okay that you place your hand on another adult, especially the adult that has the job of making sure that you are fine on a flight and make sure that you disembark safely? And you think that for whatever reason, what did she tell you that you thought it was okay to just put your hand on her head several times? You hit her several times. That's one. Secondly, and I use the opportunity to also thank her for not retaliating. because there's a Nigerian
Maturity.
attitude I'm seeing a lot of
that
now,
was immaturity.
which is, I will give you back. You know, we say it and then we feel proud of ourselves. The truth
give
is,
her.
nothing happens in isolation. If we stop that idea of having a bigger person, we will get here, where we all become animals. So we have never really respected the bigger person in Nigeria.
Yep.
Because we feel that is the
foolish.
mumu. That's the mumu. But a lot of you people have peace of mind today. You're enjoying sanity today because somebody in your life decided to be a bigger person. And as a society, if we stop acknowledging and respecting the bigger person who has decided to look at the big picture and take the L at that time, if we stop respecting that, this is what will happen. Everybody will fight everyone. That for me is the 101 of conflict resolution. Someone will take the L for the bigger picture. And then the system now has to recognize that this person has done the right thing and find a way to punish it. The reason why people have stopped becoming bigger persons is that when I've done it, everybody moves on. The badly behaved person also gets away with it and thinks that, you know, this is who I am, this is how I behave, so I'll go from one place to the other, misbehaving until you meet someone who's just like you and everywhere scatters. Now, the way she was dragged out, to be fair on the people who were handling her arrest, it's not everybody that will allow themselves to be arrested. Some people are just quite
Resisting
unruly.
arrest,
They will resist arrest in whatever form. We have seen downfall drivers take off all their clothes and stand naked so that the police will
lie down
arrive.
inside
Yes. So I think the training has to be, don't expect that everybody is a normal person, especially in Nigeria. Prepare for the worst. If this person acts a certain way, make sure the person is cuffed right on the aircraft before you bring the person up, because they were dragging on her dress. And to look at, for me, I didn't think she was dressing appropriately, because it looked like a proper thing that she had clipped on. Maybe in dragging her, they pulled it off her, and she also had a jacket. So there has to be a way to do it in a way that before you take her out, you know, maybe cuff her. Usually when you cuff them, you know, it humbles them a bit, and then you bring that person out. This one, she was held, and then she was now running around, attacking, whatever. What she was doing in Hausa, they call it boring queen. When you have embarrassed yourself so much, you just think, let's just keep misbehaving. Yeah, let's Grace finish is what she kept
Let me
doing.
take this call from Idowu. Thanks for calling. You're live. Good morning, Idowu.
Right. First to start with, Madam Mrs. Morayo, I want to say I still remember when I won your autographed book through the Teddy Baby Face, and that's how I started watching you over time, and I've been inspired at how you carried yourself. And I just wanted you to know that although you have resigned, your impact is still being felt.
Thank you so much,
So
Idowu.
that being said, I want to say that air travel isn't about just moving people. It's about protecting their dignity, and in the process, one incident like this can damage the trust in an entire airline. The real question for me now would be that what systems are in place to prevent such escalations even before they happen? So it drives us back to standard operating procedures. It drives us to safety, right? And it also drives us to training of personnel as to how they carry out their day-to-day activity. You cannot assume that everybody that is on the plane is sane. And even when they are sane, there are sometimes that things may happen in that airline that makes them act out of character. Maybe they had some challenges at home, somebody got them angry in the bus or something, you see. So these are the things, or maybe they received the bad news on the phone. So even when they are acting out of character, as a professional, you should be able to carry yourself, right? So these are just my own take on
So as we like to do on Your View, once we discuss the issue, we put it aside for a second, then let's focus on our character as a people. And I think I like the word our last caller used, dignity is a word. Dignity, how do we respond to another person's dignity? How do we react? How do we uphold the person's dignity? Be it you being the air hostess or a passenger or a citizen, you know, in every situation, understanding that every human being has a dignity that must be respected. And that always informs how we behave in public and even in private, because sometimes you see these things and you think to yourself, okay, even if the passenger was wrong, is there a way that the air hostess could have spoken to the passenger such that she's willing to obey? but she understands the need to obey, understanding the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, it's all about words. It's about how you relate to people. Yeah. So we don't know, as I said, we don't have the pre-information, but could the air hostess have done better not to get a passenger this aggravated to the point where she's being pushed at and assaulted on her airline?
So I don't really know what might have happened from within the airline at the time she was asked, or in what manner she was asked to turn off her phone. It might be provocative, it might be talked down at, it might be she was talked down at or provocated by...
Provoked,
sorry, by language and attitude
tone.
Or, you know, tone. And so maybe just that happened. But I believe that she also did a lot of things wrong. The air hostess, you could see, was well in her rights to allow those spoken because she knew she wanted it covered. She wasn't being any bigger person. She just knew that, okay, we will let them know on IBOM air, I can hold it. When she touched, I said, you can see that, you know. So she was waiting for what will happen to her post,
she knows the
you know, when she gets off that plane. And because you know she will get off that plane, there was no need for any dragging. The plane had landed. If she gets off on time, she'll not get off on time. You could have left her there.
No, they stand.
You know, I know they stand that, but you know, instead of this dragging, because they had 4 men on her. You know, you could have avoided all of that. You could have waited for her to come down by herself. Her bags were down. That girl went on the flight without wearing that jacket, wearing what she had on. Probably had it, yes, because I saw the video of her turning it off. It was almost as if somebody found it for her after the dragging. She was the one turning it, you know, in out to be able to wear it, and she wore it on ground,
Okay, I thought it was taken off her.
No, she didn't take it off. She had to use it to post the whole thing. So I'm wondering, is there no other way that, you know, she could have gotten off that flight before? Because an arrest will be done whatever way. The airport is wide enough for an arrest to be done peacefully. Let me say she wanted to run up and down now. She will have to come out through the gates, get her luggage. You know, things could have been done better. But it was done like this.
Let me go on a break, because I really want us to address general travel ethics and ethical behavior with Nigerians. We actually need to discuss it. Although, as I said, it's not a Nigerian thing, because we see this all around the world. However, what are the ethics of safe travel? And I think that's what I'd like to discuss after the break. Stay with us, we'll be right back. We'll discuss a bit of ethical flying, because the truth is that many of us, when we fly, they tell us, switch off your phones, and we hardly ever switch off our phones. Many don't. Some put it on airplane mode. Others hide the phone somewhere so they don't see it. So the truth is that, I mean, this issue of switching off has been debated in a lot of fora where people are saying it doesn't really affect the communication. Why are they always insisting that we switch off our phones? These are things that people have debated over time. But in that situation, what do you think we as a people can begin to do when we are giving instructions? There are a few instructions that we are familiar with. Number 1, switch off your phone. Number 2, wait your turn when it's time to disembark. And also, while the plane is taxiing, because we've landed, right? People that they don't reach, they will not stay on their seat. They will stand up and start getting their luggage, because the air hostess is already seated and shouting, please sit down, sir, sit down, man, sit down. I'm wondering, brother, now, sit down. So we also have issues when it comes to flying.
So I felt like you were just calling me out. So I'm one of those.
Are you one of those?
Wow. No. I not do the later part. The one of I put my phone on airplane mode. But I just feel like I think it's okay. I put my phone on airplane mode. International flight, I don't switch it off. It's only look. If somebody calls now and says I am with the aviation authorities in Nigeria, this is why we do it. I just feel like if my phone is on airplane mode, I know that that's not going to.
Mode. You know, that's why
it's not going to interfere in any way. However, because I usually sit at that exit, so they always come and meet us. Switch off your phone, and when they're looking at me in the eye like this, I'll now switch it off. I'm not usually happy to do it. If I'm not at the exit row, I will just put my phone on airplane mode.
Why do you want to keep it on airplane? What do you do with it all the time?
So I just feel like if I switch off and switch, I'm watching. I usually have movies downloaded, so I'll now have to switch it on when we go. Usually 1 hour flights. So if you're going to Abuja 50 minutes, and I want to watch it, I'll now first switch it off, then be waiting for it to come back on, and then I'll switch it off again. So I always put on airplane mode. That way I can still listen to music and all of that, or just watch a movie. But I understand, I feel that the other rules like sitting down, using your seat belt, operating, and if the person comes to meet me and tells me switch it off, and they stand in front and say switch it off, I will switch it off. Because I just feel like I will not disobey a direct order. If you did not come and meet me directly, I can just put it on airplane mode and dodge. What I see as a problem is the fact that there is a feeling of, I don't want to obey that happens in the plane. Like, I know they do. Come and put your, is that rebellious?
Why?
It's a Nigerian spirit. It's a good thing. It helps us in our business. It helps us to stay. It's why Nigerians are still surviving in the harsh economy that we're dealing with. Is that I no go die. I no go agree. It's our spirit. It is why inside the plane, it can still play up in us not obeying and be like, why make I switch off my phone? I know they agree. Or why make I sit down? We don't land now. Why make I sit down? It's just that I don't agree spirit. But when it now plays out in this kind of scenario,
I like that,
we
because
don't
we saw
like
it with KWAM. Because if it was denied access, you could have just been whisked away or moved away. But no, I just people, I will stay here. So maybe the pilot will change her mind and bring back
even Amaka, our very gentle Amaka, was sharing her story last week, and I was shocked that she said she was about to get into the plane. They were on the long queue. They delayed their flight all day in Abuja to come to Lagos, and then after delaying their flight all day, when it was time to board, they boarded everybody, and they that had boarding pass, they said the plane was full and they were going to close. She said she stood at that on the stairs and stayed there. They were saying come down, and she was banging on the door until they opened and she entered. See, they are no go gree spirit of Nigerians work. I've been to the bank and they say we can't give you money, nothing, the place is closed. And somebody will say, I no go gree, you must give me money, and they'll give the person money. So Nigeria sort of favors the I no go gree spirit. Nigeria sort of like, if you craze for them, you will get your thing done. But if you don't craze, if you are gentle, it seems like they walk all over you, like Mara said earlier. So that I know a great spirit is in us. When you are inside the plane and they tell you...
Let me pause you for a second, because I want us to dwell on that I know go great spirit. Let me take this one from Hassan. Thanks for calling Hassan. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning, Marayo.
Good morning, sir.
You by the phone call of another person, you confirm my fears that you have resigned. Well, I wish you the very best in whatever you are taking out to do.
Amen.
I know, God willing, you are a winner, and our prayers will always be with you. Thank you for assembling a wonderful team.
Yes.
We are all proud of the ladies you have assembled.
Thank you.
And I'm suggesting that Mariam, the writer, should do a biography on you.
You need to read her book. She has written hers.
Thank you, Hassan. Okay, that's it?
Okay. Yes,
Hassan. Okay. So we're talking about that resilience, because we saw it in KWAM. People say, does it think it's downfall? Because you believe that I can get on this flight. What is going on? You stay there. You stay put, because somehow you might be able to get through to the pilot to reconsider and open up the stairs for you to come upstairs. You know, and believe that, I am KWAM. So in this situation, we don't know what happened.
I think we should
but there's a possibility.
I have a response.
So the reason, so I'm just saying that resilience, where it's our behavior.
It's not resilient.
You think it's not resilient?
No,
that's not resilient.
It's misbehavior.
You see the same. Let's call it what it is in Yoruba. The agidi that made KWAM try to use hand to stop a plane. It's the same agidi with which the pilots reverse as if say they drive a personal car and taxi.
Exactly.
Is it no, that's not resilience. That wasn't staying true to something you believed in. That's bad behavior. And we cannot use that line to come and describe us, all of us Nigerians. And so, people who are patiently.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it. I hear, how you try to
justify
it. And I get it, actually. I get where you're coming from. But the truth is, we need to now find out why we're acting like that. It's because we also did something wrong. People who have always done right, as you said, just lose completely. Then those who have the I no go gree are rewarded. And so everyone has decided, okay, I'm going to act like this. So that's why when you're in traffic, someone takes a one-way or whatever, gets away with it, and you that you're on the queue, somehow the officials will come and stop you and fine you for different things. And you're like, but I'm the one doing the right thing, and this person is doing the wrong thing. So, as I said, nothing happens in isolation. Everything has a consequence. If you let it go, because it's my brother, because he has said sorry, you know, the truth is down the line, you will find this situation. So it is not resilience, I disagree. It is just the fact that we have behaved poorly from the get-go. And until we start correcting it, this is going to degenerate even more. And, you know, with the airplane, it's much more in our faces now, because if it was in a car, you get off and run off. But if you're on a plane and it's in the air, you wait till it gets down. Do you understand? So it makes it even more dramatic. That's how I see it. We talked about human dignity earlier. And for me, this behavior is also the fact that we don't respect ourselves. You know, it's easy to point out, they are not respecting me. How about you? Do you respect yourself? How do you carry yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you want people to see you? When you leave a place, how do you want them to describe you? And I've heard people describe themselves as, if you see me, when I show them, when I scatter them, and you think that that's respecting yourself. So if every one of us decides that, you know what, I want to be respected, I respect myself, and I'll conduct myself in that way, a lot of these issues we will not have it. So if this I no go agree is a wrong attitude. It defies logic. Because why would you put yourself in a situation where you might hurt yourself, kill yourself, or kill other people? It does not make sense. Why you'll be sitting by the exit. I see that. You are the one that are sitting by the exit. They say, please, I would like to speak to you. Take off your headphones. Let me tell you what to do in case something happens. So that, but because you think you no go agree, that when it happens to you, use that you no go agree somehow to, you know, it doesn't make sense. It's not logical. It does not, there's no critical thinking involved in that behavior. And
let me take this call. President from Abuja, thanks for calling your line.
Hello?
Yes, President, go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Concerning this issue, I don't know, for me, I want to just talk on 2 points. I might be wrong, I stand to be corrected, of course, but for me, I feel number one issue is, of course, pride, arrogance, like Mrs. Tokbe said. You understand? There is something we say in my tribe. I'm a Benin man. There's something we say, oh yes, you are. That's if a poor man sees money, starts misbehaving. We have seen a lot of issues like this where some people that never believe that they'll be able to board an aircraft in their life. You see them, you put them in places, they start misbehaving. I mean, we have taken girls to restaurants. You see them being so aggressive to a female waitress unnecessarily. You understand? You know, they just, you know, some girls just have this attitude, like this pride is just in them, like they just want to show themselves the way we say it in Nigeria. Then another thing is this issue of, I don't know why it's common among most of you ladies. A woman wants to bring another woman down. Trust me, I will tell you that if it was between this girl and a male flight attendant, it wouldn't escalate like this. She wanted to embarrass the lady because that one is a woman. And if you watch that video, because I have watched the video, it was a woman that dragged her shirt off. It wasn't, that shirt did not go up by itself. It was one of those two air hostels that were standing by the side. So that one was like, okay, you don't flap me, don't worry, me, I will disgrace you. It was a woman that dragged her shirt.
Thank you very much, President. I know as viewers and as Nigerians, we are all investigating. I mean, everybody's looking at the video critically, trying to deduce what could transpire. We wait for all the angles. In fact, I'm also waiting for the young lady to tell us her own version of the story. But going back to the issue of bad behavior, and I remember the fact that on July 23rd, I was in a really bad car accident, and the man who caused my accident has been arrested. And he caused the accident so that he pushed my car into the gutter, and I almost died. And I mean, I'm still in pain right now. However, the man was caught. And I was willing to drop the charges. And the police said, no, it doesn't work like that. He must pay. Well, because that's bad behavior. You could have died easily. The reason why we're having these conversations is because you are still alive. There are 3 of you in the car. All of you could have easily died in that car. He drove off without even telling the owner of the car what happened, because he needed to fix the vehicle.
The mechanic.
With the mechanic, fixed the vehicle before submitting it to the owner. So that in itself is a crime. So the truth is that when we don't prosecute bad behavior, people think they can get away because he could have easily gotten away with it. The same thing happened when we do with behavior. So I hear the fact that we must understand that there's a consequence for every action. However, we also have a responsibility as a people to begin to police ourselves, which is what you said earlier. Policing ourselves, saying, Mariam, you can't do that, turn off your phone, or reduce this, or sit down, or must they shout at you. But these days, everybody wants to mind their business. You don't want to be the one shouting or telling somebody because you want to...
It's either we mind our business or we encourage those who are behaving badly.
Okay, let me quickly go on the commercial. I'm going to go on a quick commercial break, then we wrap up on this. Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to be wrapping up on this. Waiting for some more comments. But
Okay, I have Ogumola Emmanuel. He says, conflict resolution doesn't entirely mean de-escalation. Sometimes switching up can be the best way to go. Craze, they swallow craze, and the weaker craze, they succumb. Like you say, resolution of conflict is a technique and can be dynamic.
Okay, Michael Balisa says, Amaka's case is different too. She was acting within her right. It was a case of being taken for granted. And then Asa says, thank you for clarifying. Even though no excuse for unruly behavior, it's even worse when one is on the wrong side. My most humble moment is when I'm caught doing the wrong thing. I wanted to quickly talk when we were talking about this bigger person thing, because we can't just raise kids who are only bigger persons and they're not prepared for what is out there in the world. It is tough. And a Nigerian, averagely, is genetically built to resist it, which is why you see it. What we are now seeing is the clash of it happening because it's uncontrolled. We must raise our kids to know they have that power, to reserve it for when craze need to, because we're laughing when craze need to match craze, but reserve it. Don't lose it completely. I saw my kids, they'll come, it's just me born this speaking so. As in this thing happened, you did not do nothing. Okay, in the list, go and report to the adults in the room. You know, stand your ground.
Let me clarify.
You know, assert that thoughts very well, articulate it properly to the adults in the room. When nothing happens, you can come to me, but not that everything happens. Auntie, go and tell my mommy.
Okay, let me clarify, and that's the problem. And I think we're still making the same problem, which is when we see a bigger person, we assume the person is foolish, because you are now describing a pushover. That you're the bigger person does not mean that you don't understand your rights, and you don't know how to get your own justice. It's just that you will not demean yourself. You know, when we're talking about the KWAM incident, you said if that KWAM was provoked, if he thought about it, given his status, the people he knew, all he had to do was make a call. If he was the one in the right, do you understand? He would have just, the thing would have been de-escalated, but today, those officials will be answering all sorts of questions. Yes. So that's it. You're a bigger person because you are refusing to make that messy situation worse. Not that you don't understand your rights and how to get your rights.
However, I just remembered like something a few times. I felt
it's like the system that makes you feel that way.
Being gentle.
It's not your fault. It was your pastor, Pastor Sam Adeyemi, that was saying that I think he was asked to disembark on the plane where he was arrested for something that had to do with his documentation. And he had to be calm because he knew they were wrong. But they went to interrogate him, ask about his visas, and I think it was in the US, on the flight to US or UK or something. And then he had to step down. Then he allowed the law to take his course. He didn't resist arrest because saying, I have my visa, I have everything. No, he allowed them to allow him to come down, and he came down and he answered their questions. It was eventually, I think after a day or so, they apologized to him for what happened because he had respect for himself, his brand, what he carried, because he could have been very messy. He could have resisted and said, no, do you know who I am? I am Pastor Samere, I am the speaker, global speaker. You know, he could have said that, but he didn't. He allowed them. So sometimes it's also respect for yourself and respect for the institution. Because Samadeyemi respects the institution abroad. You could have now KWAM respect the institution of the NCAA, of the FAA, of the security in Nigeria, where they are giving him insisting that he comes down the plane and discuss what he had on his hand. Was that enough respect for the institution?
And to add to that also is the story you just gave about Sam Adeyemi is that in that country they understood. You know, he knew in the end he will get justice. So the reason now we have a lot of people just acting is that now we need to talk to the institutions, we need to talk to our country, we need to talk to our government, we need to talk to our society. When people behave right, make sure that you give them their fair rights. Please, don't allow someone who has decided to not escalate the situation or behave badly, get away, leave and get nothing for it. Because we had someone who called us on the day as well and said he was asked to disembark a plane because they insisted that he should put his luggage in, what do you call it? Check-in. And he didn't have proper security on it. And he got down, and till today, even though he's no compensation, nothing was done, and he was in his right. So that is another thing. If you want Nigerians to behave better, the system has to be fair.
All right, we have to wrap up on that, but thank you very much, ladies. I think that's all we can take. But in a nutshell, I think we need to do better, and the system we did must work for all of us. Again, we await the version from the lady, because we only heard from the spokesperson of, I think, was the NCAA, or I'm not sure, that spoke to us so far, but we need to hear from the lady to hear our own version of the story, and from IBOM Air. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.